This is absolutely ludicrous. A brand new reported rumor has dropped surrounding one player that not only has fans fired up, but is quite frankly absurd. We're going to break down exactly what this is and discuss what it means going forward as well as an interesting update and funny piece of news surrounding LeBron James. A ton to go over today, folks. But before we get into it all, if you're part of that percentage, you aren't subscribed to the channel, it's the place to be for daily Lakers content. And thank you guys for your continued support. You guys have been absolute beasts. And also thank you for bearing with the setup. It's obviously, I'm on vacation right now, so I'll be back to my normal setup on Tuesday. So thank you guys for bearing with that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be diving into an interesting new report and rumor that has dropped today. And it has it's caught some traction. That's why I'm going to talk about it. It's quite frankly one of the more wild ones, and I'm very excited and curious to see your guys' thoughts. Obviously, news right now is in a little bit of a dry spell. The season is right around the corner. We're going to keep you up to date every step of the way. But there's a little bit of a tidbit of foreshadowing the trade. You can see here, Lakers trade pitch lands $238 million. Big man creates new Luka duo. And this is posted by Heavy, but there was also a Sports Illustrated article done on it. So I wanted to bring it to you guys. It is quite the interesting one. You can see this here. The Lakers have made the offseason additions. I mean, we know DeAndre Ayton and things like that. If they don't trust in their newest center, the Lakers can make a blockbuster trade to add one of the top big men in the league. And yes, folks, it is Lauri Markkanen, but who the Lakers have to give up to acquire him is wild. But you can see this report here from Mark Stein. By month's end, he'll be back in Salt Lake City with a team that went 17-65 last season and might not be any better this season. Is this what Markkanen signed up for when he inked that contract? The 7-footer is entering his 9th NBA season and has yet to play still yet to play a single playoff game. Count on Utah's phone ringing often between now and February with the trade interest in the finisher. Now, of course, he's from Finland, but this is very, very interesting. Now, of course, the report that dropped from Mark Stein is basically saying that there's a good chance that he's actually available at the trade deadline and at some point here, and that he might not be happy, or rather isn't happy with his future in Utah. Now, he did ultimately sign that big 5-year deal worth a ton, but at the end of the day, there is a chance that he obviously leaves Utah. But the trade here, you can see here, there's a full Lakers trade. So as Lakers look to fully set their Doncic era, essentially it's a mock trade that sends a very interesting player home. Now you can see this right here. It is not home. I don't know why I said home. It sends a very interesting player to LA. Imagine LA was his home. So it's Terry Rozier. It's a three-way deal. Terry Rozier, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Dalton, Knecht. So for the Lakers side, it's Rui, Vincent, Knecht, a first-round pick, another first-round pick, and another pick from Miami. So keep in mind, how the picks could swap depending on what's eligible, and there could be pick swaps in there. But the Heat get Austin Reaves in this deal for what's the equivalent of Terry Rozier and a first-round pick. I mean, it is wild that the Heat end up on the fantastic side of this. So it's essentially a first-round pick. Don't all your assets, all your tradable salary for Lauri Markkanen. Now, let's not underestimate how good or understate how good Lauri Markkanen is. He is really good. But for a team that just got a center in DeAndre Ayton to give up Austin Reaves. Now, I've been on record saying, like, I'm not the biggest, not believer necessarily. I'm not exactly sold yet on Austin Reaves fitting great alongside Luka, and that, they can't get someone else to pair with him better. But to give him up to Miami, which is, an interesting team to begin with, LeBron's former team, but also, like, Miami's getting a fleece here. I mean, they're getting Austin Reaves from one, unless I'm missing something here, some minimal assets. I don't think the Lakers would do this. Now, if they could get Lauri Markkanen without giving up Austin Reaves, I think that then becomes a very interesting storyline because, again, let me know down below, would you do this deal? But Markkanen would avoid, I guess, to a degree. Now, he could play the power forward spot, which would really make this team good. Like, think about Luka Doncic, LeBron James, or Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, LeBron James, Lauri Markkanen, DeAndre Ayton. Defensively, not great. Offensively, I mean, that'd be one of the best in the NBA, which is wild because that would obviously be fantastic. And Markkanen is a really good player, but you're giving up like top tier assets for him. And he has averaged 20 points per game, all these different things, 25 points per game, I think, as recently as a couple years ago. We'll dive into his stats in a minute. But he's playing in Utah where he is the number one option. And, besides them, not only are they not a winning team, but they haven't really done a whole lot there to, contribute to actual winning basketball. And you look at it from the perspective of specifically, his, the depth chart here and how he would fit. It's unique. So again, this would be obviously shipping off Reaves and Rui, which immediately you'd be trading away two of your starters here in the rotation, which, I mean, it is what it is, whether or not you think that they should be the starters or not. But you're adding Lauri Markkanen, who, like I mentioned earlier, like, is a really good player. You look at some of his stats here, 27 years old, entering age 28 season, coming off of a down year, his worst season as a Jazz, and or with Jazz rather, than as a Utah Jazz. So 25 points per game back a couple of years ago. Last year, or the year before last, sorry, 23. Last year down to 19. Now he did miss some time with injury, but you'd be paying a premium price. Giving like I don't even know if the Lakers would prefer Markkanen over Reaves as it currently stands, let alone giving up you know all the other assets that they'd have to give up, which again is a pretty ludicrous amount here. You're giving up multiple first round picks in theory, or a pick and a swap. Dalton Knecht, Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura. Like this is just a ludicrous deal, and you can see the article basically goes on to explain that the objective here are pretty clear for Utah. This deal makes the Jazz worse in the short term. That's good for lottery odds. The basketball gods may not have been kind to them, but they'll reward them with the first pick in 2026. The better chance to win that selection is the short term. Long term, it always helps to have more picks. The deal also clears the runway for more development for guys like Ace Bailey, Taylor Hendricks, and Kyle Filipowski. Plus, of course, I mean, but why on earth would the would the Lakers do this? That's the question. Would this Lakers package meet the mark? It really depends on how the Jazz view those things. Any deal with the Lakers surrounding Markkanen, it seems hard to believe the Jazz would walk away with anything less than Austin Reaves. And in this proposal, it ends up going to the Heat, which is pretty cheap from the Heat perspective. And that's what I'm saying here. Like at the end of the day, there's just no. If you're giving up, Austin Reaves, you'd have to assume the Jazz would want to dive into it. So I just wanted to discuss the trade. Let me know down below. Would you guys do this deal? Do you think it's light? Do you think it's way too much? I'm of the eyes of it's too much. It's we're at the time of year now where a lot of trades are getting proposed, and ultimately I'll cover some of them, but it's a pretty unique one. I think it would probably be enough if the Jazz were to get Austin Reaves. I can't imagine the Jazz trading Lauri Markkanen, their All-Star, most improved player, winning. Most improved player of the year winning center or power forward rather, and not getting Austin Reaves, who you would assume would be the centerpiece in any blockbuster trade here. So let me know what your thoughts are. Also, just let me know in like an alternate world, would you just do Reaves for Markkanen straight up? Obviously, the salary doesn't work at all, but if you were to do some sort of trade surrounding that, would you do that? Because that probably makes a little bit more sense. But even then, like, is that really worth it? You have DeAndre Ayton. He is only on a 1 year deal, which then opens up, room for possible other additions. But let me know down below. Also, thank you guys for bearing with me here. I'm quite sick from my trip somehow. I got sick on a cruise, so fighting through it here. But one thing before we wrap up as well is a funny little tidbit that dropped surrounding LeBron James. So Dwight Howard was, speaking out and doing his thing, and in pretty funny fashion, he didn't even realize that LeBron James was I guess at the event that he was at, which is pretty interesting. There, let's dive into it here. You see here, LeBron James sparks Dwight Howard's comical reaction regarding the Hall of Fame, and LeBron was actually at that, and he put on the orange suit, which is pretty funny because he's a top 10 player in the league at 40 years old, and he's putting on the Hall of Fame suit there. He said soon after he shouted out the Lakers brass, of course, talking about Dwight Howard becoming a Hall of Famer. Howard noticed LeBron James in the crowd and gave the future Hall of Famer a shout out. LeBron is here. He said, LeBron James in the building. Thank you for coming. So just a little, funny tidbit there. And just wanted to bring it up to say it's crazy to see LeBron. I mean, we know he's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer, but to see him still performing at his age is incredible. But that'll wrap it up, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Another video coming for you guys tomorrow. Cheers.